It's Jacob Schmidt, founder and CEO of Schmidt Research Partners. Good to see you, Jacob. How happy will be investors that Ozzy Gruebel's gone?
Look, on the one hand, the investors are happy because he takes responsibility, and it's a very positive sign that somebody at least takes the responsibility.
Because I can't recall the last time that happened in an institution such as this.
Exactly. Usually it takes at least a few months, like in the case of Société Générale, it took Daniel Bouton 3 months really, and a lot of pressure then to resign. So on the one hand, it's very good sign that somebody takes responsibility. On the other hand, it's sad because Oswald Gruebel was a very good chief executive. He was
they brought him back from retirement, didn't they?
Exactly. He was a very good banker. So in that sense, it is a pity, but somebody has to take responsibility.
So we have an interim CEO, Sergio Ermotti. Some analysts, though, are saying, look, this bank is in such disarray. So what should be at the top of his agenda to try to put UBS firmly, securely back on the map?
I think the big question here is, what is the banking model? Will we continue with the universal model where you have retail, commercial banking and investment banking under one roof and asset management, or whether very much along the line of 1933-34 under Glass-Steagall, where you split the two functions? I think we are coming close to that.
We're in that sort of environment in the 30s.
I think we are absolutely in that environment where actually we are coming close to the real problem. The real problem is the banking are running too much risk, and we saw that with the loss then that this one trader, and I think many others probably at the firm, ran and incurred.
Looking at the banking industry in general, Jacob, and the real issue, of course, is recapitalization of the banks right across Europe. What do the Euro leaders and officials have to do, or should be doing, right now?
I think it's obviously the question is, how much capital do you need, and the banks have to be recapitalized. Question is, how do you do that? Do you do it via a TARP kind of model, like in the United States of America a few years ago, or would the individual countries all look after their own banks? A TARP model, and some people argue that the EFSF could be the next TARP, and I think that would be a very good idea. It would be big, it would be European, and it could recapitalize all the banks.
It has to be passed first.
But I don't think it's likely. I think what is going to be much more likely is that Germany will help the German banks, and France will have the French banks, and so forth and so on.
Oh, but that's interesting, isn't it? Because that is national interest being paramount over perhaps global interest and certainly European interests.
Absolutely, and we see that the European experiment, as I call it, is somewhere halfway through. They're the Eurocrats who are very much in favor of a more centralized, stronger Europe, and then there are the individual member states who want something else. And the member states, they still have local voters, local electorates, and they have to listen to those. And Angela Merkel, for example, and Sarkozy and others have to listen to their local voters, otherwise they're in deep trouble.
Okay, very briefly, 10 seconds. The euro, what sort of currency is that going to be within the next 12, 24 months?
I think the euro will look very different, and we're going to have two euros, a strong euro, a northern euro, and a southern euro.
Jacob Schmidt, I wish we had more time, but thank you very much indeed for talking to us. Jacob Schmidt, founder and CEO of Schmidt Research Partners.